My relationship with my son is very good. I speak to him all the time. And I always tell him I love him. And that's another thing. My dad has never in my whole life told me he loves us. Not once. I've never heard him, in 57 years, I've never heard him apologise ever or say he was sorry about anything ever. And I've never, ever once, he's never once ever said he loved us. Never. And that's a hard thing to realise, that your dad is probably incapable of really loving you in a meaningful way.
Are you still wanting to hear that from him, Paul?
Sorry?
Are you still wanting to hear that
I'll
from
never
him?
hear it.
You don't think he'll get it?
I'll never hear that. I know now. When I had the breakdown, I was really in bits, and he was horrible to me one day, and he said, "I never want to see you again." I went down to see him and he wouldn't answer the door. He literally ignored me. And I climbed over the back wall and I was banging on the back door, and he was cooking some sausages, and he literally wouldn't even look at me. He was just going, and I was crying. I was like literally crying my eyes out. And I was saying, "Dad, I just want to talk to you, Dad. Please just talk to us." And he was just going like that. Wasn't even looking at us. And I was in bits, and eventually he let me in. I'm getting chills thinking about it. And I was so upset and so like, at that point, it wasn't long after I'd split up with the ex, and he said to me, "You've made me burn my sausages. Look what you've done." He was like, "Look at those sausages. You've made me do that." And he was more interested in like the sausages being overdone than he was the fact that I was like falling apart at the seams mentally, and I didn't know what to do. And it was like, he wasn't bothered. It just wasn't bothered at all. He was more bothered about the fact that these sausages had been burnt. And it was probably when that happened that I realised he didn't love me, and he never would love me, because that in that moment, that showed me that there was nothing there.